Hi, we are Duo, and we are analyzing delegated computing.
Rigetti Computing is a full-stack quantum computing company. The term full-stack indicates that the company operates a service from end to end, ranging from designing and fabricating the chips, integrating them to the control architecture, and developing software for programmers to use and build algorithms. Recently, they released an infrastructure as a service cloud computing platform called Forest. The company is headquartered in Berkeley, California, where it hosts developmental systems and cooling equipment. It also operates the Fab 1 manufacturing facility in Fremont, California. Chad Rigetti founded the company in 2013. He previously worked in the quantum computing group at IBM, holding a bachelor degree in physics from the University of Regina and PhD in applied physics from Yale. The success of a startup is deeply connected with the visions of the founder. Chad Rigetti grew up on a family farm just outside of Moose Jaw, California. He is a talented high school wrestler, gaining acceptance from his wrestling coach Leo McGee at the University of Regina and his teammates alike. However, a torn ligament from a high school accident makes him gradually realize the limitations of wrestling as a future career choice. Rigetti found himself getting more and more interested in computing and quantum mechanics. He shifted his focus to physics on third year, completing his bachelor in the University of Regina after a total of 6 years. Rigetti applied to Yale's University doctorate program in applied physics, where he got to work with Michael Dvorak, one of the world's leading quantum computing theorists, who became the most influential person in his life. However, he had bigger dreams than to stay inside a research laboratory. He wanted to combine the rigor and depth of academics with a focus on the positive impact of changing people's lives. His first experience working was in IBM, where he worked on quantum computers for 3 years after obtaining his doctorate. He decided to leave and build his own dedicated quantum computing startup due to the flexibility and agility it offers. After leaving IBM, Rigetti was faced with a problem to find funding. He had to share his visions with investors to convince them that he could build the first commercially viable quantum computer. He was rejected by approximately 100 investors before getting to sign a few. He finally got enough money to begin on 2013, after which he brings the company through a series of funding programs. From the year 2014 to 2017, the company emerged from a startup incubator called Y Combinator, followed by the Alchemist Accelerator and Anderson Horowitz. He also raised the Series B funding by the investment firm VY Capital. By the end of March of 2017, he had a total of $67 million, which is a huge initial investment for the bright future of Rigetti Computing. A business model is how the company will generate revenues and make a profit. This is best represented by a business model canvas. The importance of the canvas lies in the symmetrical layout, while the left half shows the assets and activities inside the company, which contributes to the cost structure, and the right half shows the customers and the possible ways the business interacts with them, which contributes to the revenue stream. In the middle is the value proposition, or what value does the company bring to the customer. Let's talk about key partners. The key partners are not too established as of now. But since quantum computers requires many specialized hardware, Rigetti Computing established its own prototyping laboratory called the Fab 1 in Fremont. This meant that the reliance on the key suppliers would be much more loosely associated. However, since quantum computing is a very new technology and many industries do not have extensive experience with it, most of the key partners at present focuses more on the applications of the technology. This is linked with the QCS Developer Partners Program, where the company is finding partners to find applications of quantum computing to the real world. Currently, the program holds a total of around 12 companies. For example, just last month in September, 2 companies in Singapore, Horizon Quantum Computing and Entropica Lab, make partnerships with Rigetti. Horizon will develop the programming tools, while Entrepreneurship will address the tools for genomic analysis and bioinformatics. Let's talk about key partners. The key partners are not too established as of now. But since quantum computers requires many specialized hardware, Rigetti Computing established its own prototyping laboratory called the Fab 1 in Fremont. This meant that the reliance on the key suppliers would be much more loosely associated. However, since quantum computing is a very new technology and many industries do not have extensive experience with it, most of the key partners at present focuses more on the applications of the technology. This is linked with the QCS Developer Partners Program, where the company is finding partners to find applications of quantum computing to the real world. Currently, the program holds a total of around 12 companies. For example, just last month in September, 2 companies in Singapore, Horizon Quantum Computing and Entropica Lab, make partnerships with Rigetti. Horizon will develop the programming tools, while Entrepreneurship will address the tools for genomic analysis and bioinformatics. For the key resources, it should be noted that there is no actual commercialized product or operational service yet. The key resource would be focused on 4 major sectors: the initial investment ventures, the fabrication lab, intellectual properties, and the human resource of the researchers. The first key resource is the initial investment. Since the company started from scratch, which means that the initial investment must come from somewhere. Rigetti raised over $119 million from investors. The fabrication lab, called Fab 1, is established to be one of the key resources in the company. The company claims itself to be a full-stack quantum computing company, where the ability to manufacture and prototype its own integrated circuits provides the core value. The intellectual properties include the patents and the technological know-how for the quantum computers. Rigetti Computing currently holds over 50 US patent applications on file. The human resource of researchers is one of the key enabling resources to continue the research and development phase. In fact, much of the Rigetti strategy revolves around its Junior Quantum Engineering program, which the company helps recruit and train the next generation of quantum computing engineers from the best undergraduates in applied physics, engineering, and computer science. For the cost structure, the cost structure of the company would stem from the key activities and resource of the business model. The primary cost would revolve around the continuous research and development, coupled with the various projects that the company is doing. The next 128-qubit quantum computer, the various partnerships to develop applications in various fields. With the R&D going on, the fabrication lab Fab 1 would experience consistent usage, contributing to the persistent operating cost. Moreover, there are also fixed costs of salaries of the different departments the company is operating with. For the value proposition, Rigetti Computing designs and manufactures its own quantum computers. Hence, the value proposition of the business is in the value of the quantum computer's hardware itself. Since the customer segment is not clearly defined, specific values delivered to the customer is still not concrete. However, looking at the current public beta release of the Quantum Cloud service with the Forest SDK, the value would lie in the availability of the infrastructure as a platform cloud to virtualize the quantum computer. Any developer would be able to SSH inside the virtualized machine and run their own algorithm. For customer relationships, As an emerging startup, the ability to update information and news to its investors and public is crucial to uphold its competency. It updates all the news inside the news page of its main website. It distributes the information to three main customer segments. The first segment is normal consumers, which includes Forbes, MIT Technology Review, Wall Street Journal, Business Insiders, and others. Customers who are interested in technology would see the news on their favorite news channel. The second segment is developers and programmers. The blog it uses to post is on medium.com, which is an online blogging platform which is currently one of the most popular blog platforms for developers and programmers. It introduces the more technical aspects to the service it provides. The third segment is the research community. Rigetti would publish research publications for its findings and contributions in the IEEE International Conferences, Archive, and APS Physics journals. For the channels Rigetti Computing offers, with the Quantum Cloud service and the Forest Software Development Kit Series public beta release, the primary channel it connects with the customers are mainly through its main website. There's a banner for an invitation for individual developers to join the QCS beta. On the organizational partners hoping to contribute, Rigetti offers the QCS Developer Partners Program with an application form on the website. Quantum computing market is still in its infancy stage, where any applications of the technology are just speculation built upon the concepts of theoretical physics. Although Rigetti is not yet ready to name its clients, it has already partnered with NASA to develop potential quantum computing applications on aerospace designs and operations. Rigetti continually seeks like-minded people who believe in the future of quantum computing far beyond its existing hardware. Talking about revenue streams, the revenue streams of Rigetti computing has yet to be crystallized. Quantum computers are still largely in the research and development phase, not ready to be fully commercialized. To put to scale, the current API that Rigetti offers could be able to run 8-qubit and 19-qubit superconducting quantum computers, while the usable scale is around 70-qubit computers. The company just released the public beta availability of the quantum cloud computing platform called Forest 1.0. Since it is just testing up its platform in beta stage, coupled with the infancy of the quantum computing technology, the platform still does not receive actual commercial or full-blown industrial usage at present. Rigetti Computing is a company that is built upon a series of funding, and there is yet to be any consistent revenue stream. SWOT is a strategic planning technique to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to business competition. Strengths and weaknesses are often internally related, while opportunities and threats commonly focus on external environment. One of the biggest strengths in the quantum computing specialized field is the high ability of deterrence for potential newcomers and competitors. That is the ability to maintain their market position and to drive the market growth across various dynamic and diversified international organizations. Market leaders are innovating continuously and increasingly seeking market expansion through various strategic mergers and acquisitions, innovation, increasing investment in research and development, and cost-effective product portfolio. The ability for the company to persist and rebound back under pressure is one of the core attitudes to become a visible competitor on the field. Another strength is in the claim of Chad Rigetti on the culture of startups. He was inspired by the flexibility and agility of a startup. He states that being smaller than his competitors gives his company an advantage. Pursuing the long-term objective with the urgency of a product clarity is something that large corporations aren't culturally matched to do. In addition, Rigetti Computing is also strong in the sense of all the interest surrounding the concept of quantum computers. The company is generating revenue from organizations and companies for research and development purposes. Rigetti is already talking to NASA, which believes quantum computers could help plan missions more efficiently. The weakness of a company lies in the loose structure of the business model. Although quantum computing market is promoted to be a revolutionary change in various industries, no one is able to know for sure where the market would shine. This is due to the quantum computer market is still in its infancy stage and there's no real-world applications. With no clear customer segmentation, the company is in a rush to find applications for its technology, like the various projects like QCS Developer Partners Program and the Quantum Advantage Prize. Since there's no specific use case and business model yet, Rigetti exposes its services as a cloud platform, which not only helps with the availability of the virtualized hardware, but the flexibility to deploy them in a number of applications. Another weakness of the business is the nicheness of the market itself. This is with respect both to the client and the researchers. It is hard to maintain a human resource of quality standards with strong academic background. To counter their weakness, the company holds Junior Quantum Engineering Program, which the company helps recruit talented undergraduates and train the next generation of quantum computing engineers. As quantum computing is a completely new field where no one has really explored its use before, the opportunity stems from the weakness of the field itself. Rigetti Computing should be commended for exploring its weakness to find new opportunities and applications for quantum computing via the QCS Developer Partners Program and the Quantum Advantage Prize. Although it should be noted that finding new applications of the field of quantum computing also promotes the opportunity spaces for its competitors as well. It should instead be considered as a win-win situation for quantum computing and humanity as a whole if the applications of quantum computing expanded its horizons. The threats for the quantum computer race is quite simple. There are two domains of the race: the race to produce the first commercially viable quantum computer, and the race to find practical applications for the quantum computers themselves. The race to produce the first commercially viable quantum computer is one of the most tangible. As all big companies jump into the race of building quantum computers, it is obvious that they are looking forward to be the first distributor of the quantum computing product and services. This landscape could clearly be seen where Google, IBM, and Rigetti are announcing their new quantum computers at the same time. The race to find practical applications for quantum computers is that the winners and losers of quantum computing industries will be decided by who took advantage of the various industries early. Note that this is not only to find the potential markets for the quantum computing world, but also serve as to secure the clients to be vendor locked in with the QCS and all the software development platform. Hence, this can also be looked upon as a race to secure the clients in the quantum computing space. The 6-force model is a revised version of the Porter's 5 forces. It measures the competitive intensity of a particular business, which results in the attractiveness of the business itself. An attractive business would be able to gain profit independent of any competitive forces from outside influences. One of the threats of new entrants lies in the core enabling technology of quantum computers itself. The subject of quantum mechanics is one of the most mysterious and profound that even quantum physicists themselves struggle. It is not a subject anyone can breathe in and build a quantum computer. In addition, there are also important engineering problems to be solved. One important design problem is that quantum computers need to operate in a superconducting state, which revolves around the environment being extremely cold near the absolute zero territory. This allows the qubits to be both stable and not incorrectly flip between the quantum states. Achieving one engineering design is already a challenging feat. Several would require highly experienced, creative engineers to come up with new solutions. Quantum computers offers itself to be a unique solution to do things that conventional computers cannot. The unorthodox nature of quantum mechanics requires the whole programming logic to be redesigned and re-implemented. Quantum computers are not meant to be a direct replacement of anything, since it is a new technology in its own right and only good for a very specific task. There are many speculations on the applications of quantum computers. Quantum computers are very good at dealing with problems when there is a lot of possibilities and degrees of freedom. For example, simulation of protein folding, accelerating the research for cancer and drug discovery, deep learning inferencing for object detection and automatic labeling, logistics vehicle routing problem, just to name a few. It could be observed that quantum computers hold a very niche area in the market, making the threat of substitutes very unlikely. Having no real customers, this topic is left quite open for speculation. The question is what happens after the first commercialization of a quantum computer, and what steps will the company Rigetti Computing take? If Rigetti Computing were to successfully deploy a stable and reliable commercialized cloud service, it should be fair to speculate that the industry giants should be able to do the same, like Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba Cloud, and many others should be able to catch up in no time. It would then be the question of what unique value each company is able to offer. For example, Rigetti Computing may be able to provide unique, customized quantum computing solutions for customers. Otherwise, the bargaining power of customers should be considered high due to the high firm concentration ratio. It should be reiterated that Rigetti Computing is a full-stack quantum computing company. This meant that the company is responsible for end-to-end process from designing and fabricating their own chips. This is due to their rapid prototyping fabrication lab called Fab 1, which allows lab engineers to generate experimental designs for 3D integrated quantum circuits. Since the manufacturing and designing is all done in Rigetti Computing, the suppliers would only be limited to raw materials as opposed to high-valued processed goods. As the raw material suppliers would be abundant, the firm's switching costs would be relatively low. The low dependence on the specific suppliers allow the firm to have high bargaining power over the supplier. In the realm of quantum computing, no existing company in the market is yet able to offer quantum computing solutions to do useful work that existing computers can. The rush to commercialize quantum computers still go on. Many huge and small companies are doing the same. Google has pledged to commercialize the technology within 5 years. IBM offers the cloud platform that lets developers and researchers play with the chip. Alibaba has teamed up with Chinese Academy of Science to build a quantum computing lab. However, in the terms of the immaturity of the technology and the difficult engineering caveats, a true quantum computer is not yet a reality. Hence, industry rivalry may play a psychological role in the race of time to secure the position of the first entrant to the market, but they pose no real business importance as of now. It should be noted that a quantum computer is a specialized hardware to optimize very specific tasks. The various problems that a quantum computer claims itself to solve is very far from the normal use cases of a consumer, which suggests that quantum computers will only be used by niche industrial and medical applications. The dependence of complementary products would depend on the method the company uses to deploy the services. If the company exposes service virtualized on a cloud platform, it may be the case that the industry's existing infrastructure is already tied up in the big cloud providers like AWS or GCP. On the other hand, if the company would directly sell the hardware on-premise to the customers, the service would then be independent of any complementary products. The services and products offered is yet to be concrete, and the only service visible is the public beta availability of the Forest 1.0. It should be justified to say that the dependence on complementary products is at present moderate.
For competitive advantages, since quantum computing is really new, and many things are yet to be clearly defined, so the business have really low competition, we decided to separate competitors into two types: large corporations and medium corporations. The advantages that Rigetti have among the large corporations, which is Google or IBM, is that Rigetti have the main goal and aim to achieve it as soon as possible, while comparing to the large corporations, they're just hunting for a new line of business. For the medium corporations such as DWF and 1Qubit, there is not much advantages over each other, but it depends on what is the main focus for each company. For example, now Rigetti is focusing on the quantum cloud computing and be the first one to achieve it. For competitors analysis, there are 5 main companies that we consider are main competitors of Rigetti, which are D-Wave, 1qubit, Magic, CQC, and Teradici. For D-Wave, it is the world's first quantum computing company. D-Wave has been funding over than $165.5 million and make around $19 million revenue. It considered to be the first ranked competitor of Rigetti. For 1qubit, it is a quantum computing software company. 1qubit have been funding over than $45 million and make around $5 million revenue. It considered to be the second ranked competitor of Rigetti. For Magic, it is a software business focused on helping its clients to effectively manage their business performance and core business operations. Magic had been funding over than $7 million and make around $2.9 million revenue. It considered to be the third ranked competitor of Rigetti. For CQC, it is an independent company combining expertise in quantum information processing, artificial intelligence, optimization, and pattern recognition. It considered to be the fourth ranked competitor of Rigetti. For Teradici, it is the creator of the remoting protocol technology and cloud access software. Teradici have been funding over than $74.8 million and make around $19.9 million revenue. It considered to be the fifth ranked competitor of Rigetti.
In general, a marketing strategy is a long-term, forward-looking approach to planning, with the fundamental goal achieving a sustainable competitive advantage. Marketing strategy is sorting out who your audience actually is, and then finding out what has meaning to them. For the Rigetti, they do not provide any discount, but they provide the access to users to the products that they have launched before as a beta phase. Lately, they have claimed that they want to build a 128 qubits quantum computers within August 2019 after the IBM claimed that they want to build the 50 qubits quantum computers. This leads to the confidence on their resources that they could beat the IBM with their resources. Moreover, the QCS is the world's only quantum-first cloud platform running with their integrated systems, which bring together the best of classical and quantum computing on a single cloud platform. This makes the Rigetti differ from any other quantum computing companies. According to the MIT statistics, it shows that the Rigetti Computing Company is listed on the top 30 smartest company in the world, and they bring it as a strong point to show the customer that they have a plenty of professors and experts in their company. The quantum computing market is still in its infancy stage, where any applications of the technologies are just speculations built upon the concepts of theoretical physics. For the products and technologies invented by the Rigetti, the company designs and fabricates quantum chips, integrates them with a controlling architecture, and develops software for programmers to use to build algorithms for the chips. The quantum cloud computing platform hosted by the company gives the developers access to the quantum processor so they can write quantum algorithms for testing purposes. This means that the current market that the Rigetti wants to focus is the market of quantum cloud service platform work on the quantum processors, so that the people who are building with Forest is their main target. For example, cloud quantum computing of an atomic nuclear, quantum games, or even learning the quantum algorithm for state overlap. For the sales strategy, focusing on the client side is not yet ready to name its main customers. They do not sell direct to the customer due to the fact that it is currently on the testing period which is the beta test. There are two products launched to the market: the QCS or Quantum Cloud Service and the Forest SDK or Forest Software Developer Kits. They have just prepared services for users who want to try the Quantum Cloud platform or even the toolkit for developers who want to try the quantum programming based on a Python language. Initiating on some startups in any field in or of itself is quite challenging. Having the monetary capacity from funding and a wealth of knowledge is one obvious thing startups should have. On the other hand, the business strategy is also quite essential for everyone related to the startup due to the fact that it sets out to achieve its desired ends. We cannot deny that we do not expect anything from our startup. Rigetti is the only company deploying full-stack solutions for this integrated computing environment. This is the code claimed by the Rigetti. This gives the confidence to the users that they are unique and powerful. For the business strategy, the strategy that the Rigetti is using is the differentiation strategy. Normally, a firm following the differentiation strategy attempts to convince customers to pay a premium price for its goods or services by providing unique and desirable features. In this case, the Rigetti are the only company deploying full-stack solutions for the computing environment, and their launch products are now free for users to use it. This makes the Rigetti differ from any other quantum computing companies.
All of those applications that quantum computing could enhance are exciting, but we have got a ways to go before they are available. Still, some of the major players working on quantum computers include Google and NASA. And when big companies like this get involved with new cutting-edge technology like this, we usually don't have to wait that long for big breakthroughs. The Rigetti is not a big company and just only at the startup, but their quality could beat big giant companies. Here is the code that Chad Rigetti thinks that the quantum computing will change the world. This is going to be a very large industry. Every major organization in the world will have to have a strategy for how to use this technology.